Good morning. Here's how it looks out there. It's cold and foggy, misty in the air, but it's not actually raining, so that's super good news. Here's all our bags. The tarp was whipping last night for quite a while. Here are my socks. I can almost wring them out. I think I'm going to put a different pair on today. Hopefully in the next few days, we're going to find a place to do laundry and get some stuff dry that needs to get dry. But we were hoping to push for another day or two before we do that, so we'll see. Anyway, I think I can move to dry socks today. So we're going to try to get up and get moving and see what we can do today. We need a little morale boost. We need some sunshine. It would be nice. It's so cold. It's supposed to be July. I was telling the boys yesterday, I was just kind of surprised. You know, usually in New Hampshire, the mountaintops are cold and windy in the summer. Might be chilly at night when you're tenting, but don't expect to hike all day in the freezing, chilly weather. You know, if it is raining, it's usually at least a little bit warm. This is just not real pleasant to hike in, if I'm being honest. And so that combined with the wet, hard terrain, the wet, slippery rocks, really rattled me yesterday a little bit. Some of those slabs that we had to go over, and Asher almost slipping, and his backpack caught him, and some of this is just dangerous, and that kind of rattled me yesterday. So anyway, we have at least a mile section that we know of that stuff coming up. So we're going to do that this morning and see how that goes and see how this day goes. Alrighty. I put on dry socks, my soaking wet shoes, and look we actually have some views this morning. So we came over those last night, and we were standing right by that cairn right there, trying to figure out which way to go. Realized that we had to go that way. Could not see that mountain. It was just total white. It was getting dark. We need to go up over that and down. My concern was we were already cold and tired and wet, and it was like 50 degrees or maybe less, I don't even know, with the wind blowing. We came through a lot of like muddy, I don't know if you can see that, like mud patches where honestly you could sink like up to your knees or waist. I couldn't even take my phone out because my battery had died, and it would have gotten wet anyway. But there were so many stretches where I was like, oh my goodness, if we could videotape this. It was just, you can see this is just like a wet bog puddle mud pit. And the bog boards, when there were bog boards, they were either broken or underwater. They were like deep. And so it made it really challenging. So this was the safest decision to make, was to set up our tent. And in an effort to not get too wet and to not hurt the alpine zone, we set up on the rock, which was fine. I think it worked much better than any place else. There were 0 stealth sites that we could find coming up and over these mountains. And my concern also was the descent of this. If there was going to be more wet rocky slabs, we couldn't do that in the dark. And it was what, like I said, I was a little rattled after Asher had almost fallen to who knows what. So here we are this morning. I'm a little bit encouraged here that this is lifting a little bit. That would be helpful if it doesn't actually rain on us today. Trails will be wet, rocks will be wet, but if it's not raining, that is so much nicer. So, thank you, God, for this day. The birds are singing. Let's see how we do.
Mom, is it like misty? Like, is it gonna like?
All right, we're trying to get packed up here. We just ate our breakfast, wrapped up in these pads because it's chilly. I just want to show you. I don't know if you can see the tent. So this is our tent. We slept in it like this last night. We just put our pads down. But my point is, it's soaking wet. And in this weather, there's no drying it out. So sleeping in this tent again tonight would be pretty challenging, for sure. It's cold and wet. It's disgusting. So if we could avoid that for a couple of days until we can somehow dry it out in some sunshine, that would be nice. We think we have sunshine in 4 days. So that's where we're at today. We're going to pack this up and hit the trail. All right, so we've already started off this morning. That's steep. I don't know if you can tell. Here we are, climbing some wet, slippery rocks, trying to just grab onto whatever trees are on the side in case we slip. And it is raining out. It's like misting. I don't know if you can tell. So we're going to get to the top of this. We're going to put our poles away so that we can just use both hands, try to get up and over all this stuff. We were just chatting with Ringer over on the top of that, and it just sounds like everybody who's going no-bow is just tired. He said he's not feeling good. He pulled a 0 yesterday in his tent, and he said he's just kind of tired and frustrated where this weather is just killing us. The miles are slow. We are so close to the finish yet so far, you know. So anyway, I'm going to put my phone away, get up this slippery rock, put my poles away, and we got more of this to come. So bog boards are sometimes helpful, and sometimes not, as he steps on the bog board and it sinks inches underwater. Bro?
Yeah. Just go?
Yep. Yeah, one way or the other.
So like,
I actually went around.
and it's a sponge.
And it's a total sponge. I sunk up past my gauges. Asher, don't jump.
The faster you go, the less you
Don't
get wet.
jump, Ben. If he ate it, I would have.
So my shoes are now sponges. I can, like, every time I step, I just feel the water squishing between my toes. Those were nice dry socks for 15 minutes.
Neither one got Now that our feet are...
So on this stretch, they put the bars to help us down the rock, but we were just saying, like, that's not even some of the steepest, worst stretch. Yet, Ben, on that section, if you just go down to the tree and get to these,
It's easier.
yeah. Just hold on to them to get over to that tree, then come down to this next set. But these aren't even some of the steepest rocks. So we're glad that these are here, but there are other sections where they really were needed that we've had to go through today and especially the last 2 days. We have this water source behind the shelter, which is awesome because we were all out of water. So getting water, and then I'll go show you the shelter that we rolled up to that we had been hoping to get to last night. We just finally got to this morning. We're going to take a quick break here after we get water and keep moving. I think we have a mountain to climb and the Mahoosuc Notch to get through. So thankful that it's not actually raining on us. It's just kind of drizzly wet out. So this was just like 100-foot or so side trail down to the water, but oh my gosh, even that has me huffing and puffing. I don't know if you can see the water. Looks a little yellow. Guess we will filter it. So here's a tent platform, which is nice and flat, but still get wet on those, we found out the other day. And here's the back side of the shelter. This is a long shelter, long, low shelter. The full Goose shelter here in Maine. And I'll show you the way we came up to it. So the trail came from right here. We had to come up this ladder, up that rock ladder from over there. So we came up here, found the shelter, which we had hoped to get to last night, but we couldn't. And so we're gonna have a little snack here, drink some of this yellow water, and then continue on the AT this way. Okay, so Elliot's reading the logbook here from this shelter, and so just want to hear some of the comments that other people made. Because so what we did yesterday is we spent a couple hours in the tent, ate some food, and then we
Although, Mom,
hiked on.
the reason we really stayed in the tent is because, number one, it was already set up, and number two, we were hungry.
right,
If we weren't hungry and it wasn't already set up, we would have hit the trail 5 hours before we did.
right, and we would have eaten breakfast in the shelter.
Yeah.
We would have eaten less, but we
Yeah.
would have eaten in the shelter. So anyways, we sat in the tent because it was already set up, and we pigged out. Then we kind of got a little lazy
And took a nap.
because who wants to go out in the freezing cold rain? So we decided to get a couple little naps sleep.
Well, yeah, and it was good. We got like 2 hours of actual solid sleep.
Right, we did sleep, so we made good use of the time. We ate and we slept, and then we hit the trail, which is why we were only able to do like 8 miles yesterday. We had to stop short.
Yeah.
We stopped at 5. We thought we could go 15, but due to the wet, dangerous, slippery rocks, we had to adjust that to 10. 10 would have got us here. Then we realized up on that mountain with the wind whipping and the dark and the slippery rocks and Asher slipping and everything else that we had to just set up camp. So what did some other people do?
So here at this shelter, they're all southbounders, no northbounders that we know.
Okay.
Someone said, nice shelter, took a 0 here to stay dry. This is the way. Another 0'd yesterday in the rain. 8 slept, repeat. And another person said 0'd here. Very nice shelter. And slept.
Yeah. So it's normal. It's normal to hang out in a shelter or to wait out the rain or whatever. The problem is we want to finish. We want to finish. So that's why that's kind of hard for us to do. And when we do it, then we do fewer miles and then we get discouraged. So anyway, today we're going to keep moving. It's 10 a.m. right now. We've done a couple of miles. Those miles were kind of slow as well. Those miles weren't real easy. Still some tough rocky parts. But we're going to eat up now and power through. All right, the rain has really started back up. This is a lot of the trail. Some spots of mud are up to our ankles. Some are up to our knees or beyond. There's basically a stream running down the trail again. We're not at a rocky part at the moment, but we're about to hit it. And so I'm going to put my phone away. I'm securing it in the plastic bag. And unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to show a whole lot of what would be a really interesting and hard part of the trail. But we're going to keep moving in the rain. All right, here we are. We just dropped down into the notch. We're starting the hardest 1.5 miles on the Appalachian Trail. Here's what it's like. I don't know if you can see. It's a huge puddle of water. The temperature just dropped 10 or 15 degrees, I'd say. We are soaking wet. I don't know if you can see. My jacket, my shorts, our feet. My shoes are like sponges. My toes are sopping up every step I take. So here we are. We're in it. We're going through it. But I'm going to need my hands. And so I can't keep pulling my phone out. Also, it's raining. I don't know if I mentioned the rain picked up. So we're doing it. We're doing it. And we'll see how long it takes us. We're going to try to move through it safely and keep you posted. But unfortunately, because of the weather, the rain, my phone in a bag, and everything else, I'm not going to be able to keep videotaping. Okay. So, I don't know if you could see those rocks. Asher just said there's some ice right there.
Yeah, down like...
And he's in a jam and there's a big hole below him, so I'm going to get over there to help him. Alright, it is freezing, so here comes Asher through this part. Ben is coming down from here, just showing you that snow and ice. I don't know if you can see it. Snow and ice in every crevice down here. And it is legitimately freezing, I'd say. Especially when you're already soaking wet. So we're going to keep moving through this and then see what we need to do to get warm and dry. Okay, here we are, still making our way. And I was going to show you. No, I can't.
You guys go on.
Right in front of Ben here is an arrow telling you to like squeeze down between those boulders. This is nuts.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Alright, so we're up here. And basically it's like a cliff drop off to nowhere. But it's a well-beaten path. Many other people have tried to come this way. And apparently it's not the way to go. Right, so we're scaling the side of this rock. And that's the drop. We thought this was the way to go because it was so well beaten. And the blazes aren't real great. But apparently we have to go around and down, way down there. And then come up that way. Okay, so we got to get back down this safely so that we can go the correct way. I'm like trapped under here. Okay, I just came through there. I had to wiggle on my stomach like a worm. Come back this way and we'll...
can't move.
Yeah, come back and we'll go out this way and up and around. Alright, quick update since it's not pouring out. It was raining on us that entire time. We just finished the notch. It took us 3 hours. Well, the last of us. The fastest people took less time than that, but by the time the last 2 of us got out, 3 hours in the rain the entire time. It's been raining for days, so as you can imagine, everything is soaked and wet. Plus, rain was coming down as we were doing it. Not sure I would call that fun. Like, even on a dry day, I don't know that. Anyway, I am so thankful that it's behind us, and so thankful that we got through it safely. So now we're hiking a mountain. Couple thousand, I forget what they said, 1,800 or something feet of elevation. We are soaking wet, like every piece of clothing on my body could be wrung out. The shirt underneath my raincoat is wet, like everything's wet. Wring out wet, not just wet, but and we have 2 mountains, good sized mountains, and 7.1 miles in between us and a parking lot. If there's any way that we can get picked up at that parking lot and get a room at a motel, that is our plan. But I have no service. So we're gonna hike this mountain. The rain is starting again. Hike this mountain and then see if I have service. See if we can arrange a room and a pickup and somehow do the 7 miles in a reasonable amount of time to get picked up. I'm huffing and puffing because I'm hiking this mountain while I'm doing this. Then that's what we're gonna do. So every single thing that we have, I mean, everything's wet, meaning our tent, our tarp, our sleeping bags are even like damp, just because our tent was so wet. It was misty, like in our tent, basically. All right, this is like adding insult to injury here, having to hike this mountain and over these rocks after we just did all that. But we're doing it. We're doing it. And if we could actually get dried out tonight, that would be amazing, because the temperature's down in the notch at times. We're seriously like freezing, and then we're soaked and it's not real warm. So the other alternative is to sleep in one of the shelters tonight, but we're gonna have soaking wet stuff and sleep in damp sleeping bags, and that just doesn't sound very appealing. So see what we can do and try to secure my phone.
Maybe off the...
Oh, okay. I'm stuck on a tree. This is the trail that we're currently climbing. Kind of looks like a waterfall. Hasn't gotten any easier. I mean, it's easier than the notch, but the mountain's certainly not easy. Look at this. This is flowing right up to the trail.
Me and Brody were building the
There's
dam.
a beaver dam.
We were helping build.
The trail goes up that way. I thought this was... All right, wow. Well, it's pretty.
So flooded.
It's cold though.
Water.
So we have to cross that somehow to get up to the trail?
Yeah, that's why we're trying to build it up.
We have to go right there
All right,
to get up those rocks to the trail. It's like a flowing river.
Okay, so right now we're inside a shelter on a cool lake. So this is where we're sleeping tonight. We are not going all the way to town, which is like another 5 miles, but so yeah. So here we are cooking dinner. Mom and Ben.
Filtering water into the jet boil.
What's up?
Look at the pond through the trees. Do you see it?
Oh yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a cool pond. Yeah, so we'll be sleeping at this shelter tonight.